Hi, it's Steve back again, and today we're going to download Microsoft Office 365 from Hub to install locally. That is to say, we're going to run Word, Excel, PowerPoint, etc. directly on our PC rather than accessing the online versions of these applications via our web browser. There are a few reasons we might want to do this, primarily if our internet connection is a little flaky or slow, or we're using an older or slower PC. We might find that the online versions don't always load properly, slow to use, or maybe they stop working correctly while we're editing a document. Installing the full Office 365 suite locally means we're no longer reliant on the internet connection always being there while we edit, and it should start faster and be more responsive than the web versions. Additionally, as this is the full version of Office 365, the applications have some extra features that the web versions don't have. Now, you may have noticed that I have two taskbars. Today I'm going to be installing Office inside of a virtual machine, this window here. Think of it as another PC inside of my normal PC. I'm doing it this way as it's just a little easier for me to record things. I don't really want to have to set up everything I need on my daughter's laptop. Now, just before we get started with Hub, a little detour. I'm going to create a new Windows 10 account on this device for my daughter. Now, you don't have to do this on your home device, but it does mean that your child's files can be kept separate from your own. This might be handy if you have to share your PC and would like to keep your schoolwork and your own work separate. As I'll be adding my daughter using a child account, this has another nice little advantage. I can make use of Microsoft's parental controls. Search for Microsoft Family, you'll find your family Microsoft account on the top. And we've got parental controls like this, where we can set total screen time limits. We can set periods where the devices are allowed to be used or not used. I can set application and content restrictions as well. That could perhaps help avoid distractions during school work time. So coming back to my virtual PC, I'm going to create a new account, as I said. So I'm going to go hit the start button and go to settings. From here, we'll find users. There we are, accounts. And switch to family and other users. Now, my daughter, I've already added her as a child to her own laptop, and her child account is linked to my own account. I've got the adult parental account. So this is already set up. She's here, and I can just add her to this device. But if you're starting from scratch, you'll probably want to come up here to add a family member. We can add that member, and if they already have an email address, we can enter that, or we can create an email address ready for a child. We can type in our desired email address. We might have to try a few different ones a few times, and you get a choice between Outlook and Hotmail.com here. Now, as I said, my child has actually already been added to my family account. So all I need to do is choose her account and click allow on this device. We'll allow them. And now I'm going to sign out. And log into the newly created child account. Now, through various parts of this video, various things are going to take quite a long time. I will end up speeding up the footage, so you don't have to sit here for hours and watch the same thing. Watch something very slow and boring. Okay, enter my daughter's password. That password was created when we set up her child account. And I'm being prompted here to create a PIN. This is just a short series of numbers that's easier for her to type in than the full password. You can click the close button on the top incidentally and skip that, so they have to type the password in fully, but we can also set a short PIN that's easier to remember and type in. Need to be a little bit cleverer than that. Apparently 1, 2, 3, 4 is not allowed. I'm now asked, as part of the account setup, if I would like to use something called OneDrive to back up files on my daughter's account. I'll say yes to this, but towards the end of the video I'll also set up access to the school or Hub's OneDrive files. This will mean that any schoolwork saved or shared to Hub OneDrive will automatically be downloaded to this machine or uploaded back to Hub. We now need to set some privacy settings. Okay, after a few minutes, we've arrived on the newly created user account. And one more thing I think I'll do just very quickly here is set up the Welsh language pack so she can type Welsh characters when she needs to. I'm going to go down to the Start button and head into Settings. And switch to Time and Language. In the Language section, there's a setting for preferred languages, and I'm going to add a new language here. Now I'm going to install the language pack for this, but I'm not going to set the display language. If I was to set the display language, actually all the options inside of Windows would be translated into Welsh. We'll keep those as English. Okay, and now with that language pack installed, we have a new option in the bottom right of the taskbar where I can switch between English language entry and Welsh language entry. And that's it for our detour for the time being. I also notice that my daughter's taskbar is set to collapse by default. We'll just stop that happening for the time being. Right click taskbar settings, and we'll leave that turned off. Okay, let's get into Hub and download Office 365. So this is the first launch of Microsoft's new Edge web browser. Just confirm everything there. And then search for Hub. That's better. I'll log in, and this is all going to be blurred out because you've seen this in a previous video and I don't want to give away my daughter's username or password. Okay, let's head into Office 365. And we have an Install Office button in the top right corner that exposes a drop-down menu. On Android and Apple tablets and phones, there will instead be a button to take you to the application store where Office can be installed. On Windows and Mac systems, the first drop-down option will start a small download that we'll then have to double-click to begin the full Office install. And what you'll see down in the bottom corner here is straight away a little download has taken place. This is the setup executable that we're going to need to run to install Office on this device. I'll click Open File. And I'm an administrator on this Windows 10 device. My daughter is not, so I actually need to enter my password to allow this Office installation to take place. The setup program now downloads and installs Office. Even on a fast connection, this can take some time. For slower connections, you might need to leave this running overnight. But that's it. Once Office is installed locally, you don't have to be connected to the internet anymore to use it. You're free to use Word, PowerPoint, Excel, etc. offline. And okay, we're all set. Office is now installed. If I go down to the Start button, here are a list of recently added applications, including Word, PowerPoint, Outlook, and Excel. And of course, we'll find these further on down in the Start menu as well. If you want to, you could right-click, say Word, and pin that to Start. And it'll be there in the Start menu to use all the time. Another option is you could right-click, go to More, and should be able to pin to the taskbar, which will add it to your taskbar at the bottom. There remains one more thing to do to get Office fully set up on this system, and that is to actually launch one of the Office products and sign in using the Hub account details. So accept the license agreement. Next up is choose the default file type format. I'd recommend that we pick the Office Open XML format. Open document formats are also okay, but they are the native format for a free open source suite called LibreOffice. Microsoft Office and LibreOffice can exchange documents using it, but LibreOffice can also open the native Microsoft Office format. So we may as well stick with that. If you're not directly prompted to sign in using the Hub account details, go and press sign in at the top here. And again, log in using your child's Hub account details. We're offered to use this account, the Hub account, to manage this device. I'm going to turn that off. And we're all set. Office is now installed on this system and activated on this device as well. So other user accounts will also have access to Microsoft Office. One or two more things just to tidy up. If, as I've done earlier, you've installed the Welsh language pack inside of Windows, it's now time to install the Welsh language pack inside of Microsoft Office. So just open up a blank document. And switch using the language picker. And we should be prompted to install the language pack. Yeah, there we go. So this document contains text in Welsh, but it isn't being proofed. This means we don't have the spell checker installed, the grammar checker, thesaurus, etc. So let's go to download. Scrolling down, we're asked which language we need. And just off the bottom of the screen there is Welsh. The edition we need to download is probably going to be the 32-bit edition. That seems to be what Hub is serving up for Office. We'll open that file. And because my daughter is not an administrator on this device, I need to enter my user account password. And after a few moments, we'll be asked to close Office. Installing the language pack actually takes a surprising amount of time, so I've sped this up massively. Okay, we should be done. Let's close, relaunch and see if the Welsh spell checker works. Okay. Yep, I'd say that's working. Okay, perhaps one final thing to do, a quality of life thing if you like. We can link up Windows' built-in OneDrive system to the OneDrive Hub account. So I've right-clicked there and we'll go into Settings. We'll add an account. The account that's already there is the personal OneDrive account. And again, I'm going to type in the Hub login. So the school OneDrive account will be in a folder called OneDrive HWB Live IDP. And there are the documents from the school OneDrive account. So I can open up a presentation from the previous video. And there we go, we're editing this now locally. Just to point out these cloud icons here, the cloud icons indicate that the file is actually stored online in the cloud at the moment. When you double click on one of these files, Windows will download that file and then it'll be available for offline use. So we could pick on, let's say this one. There we go. And with a little green check in there, this file is now available for offline use. And that's it from me. Thank you very much.